everybody, welcome to the dungeon. My name is Robin and today is Lampworking 101.80. Today I wanted to share the 5-layer disc bead with you, and this is a great bead if you don't know what to make or you're having a hard time coming up with something fun and different. The formula for this bead always stays the same, but depending on what color and cane you add to each layer, the outcome is going to be different every time. With that said, I'm going to start out by making some cane and then we'll get right into the bead. I hope you're all doing safe and well out there. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time in the dungeon. I'm going to start this out by making the cane, and I'm going to make a single threaded twisted veiled cane for this bead. Any cane and any color combinations will work, but I'm just going to make a cane and use clear glass for this specific demonstration. So I'm just going to start out with my base color, and I wanted something kind of on the pink side. So I chose the bubblegum pink, and to start out, I just want a small amount of glass on the end of my mandrel before I start building it up. So this is just the inner layer of this cane. And I'm just going to attach it to the very end of my mandrel. And because we need to add more color on top, I want to kind of roll it out a little bit. I don't want to get it too long, but I want the sides straight enough to where it's easier for me to start adding these layers. And the color that I have here, you know, I bought a couple of double helix colors, and I don't work with them very often because they're expensive. I'll just be honest, you know. This color is Flora, and I might as well have just used a pale rose transparent on top because I just could not get this color to strike the hot pink that it is supposed to strike. Either way, it still came out lovely, so we're going to go ahead and use it. And I'm just rolling it out again after I get that the first layer, and I want to add a second coat to it. Of course, this can be any color on the inside and any color on the outside. It really all depends on what you're feeling that day. And I want to make sure that I coat nice and evenly all the way around, so when I pull this out, this veil over the color will be nice and even. I'm just going to taper that bottom in a little bit. I know that this is sloppy work, but it'll be okay. It'll all be okay. You know, I can't always make the textbook version of what I do, but I do try. Okay, so on top of this, we are going to add our clear coat, and this is simply just to hold in all of the transparent and prevent it from bleeding out. The great thing about this bead is that you can any color combinations or cane combinations are going to look really great. So you can pretty much make any cane you want. Any cane, any stringer. It could be veiled cane, it could be a twisted cane. Okay, so here's my black. This is the thread I'm going to use, and this is a small swipe of intense black. And this is the black that I want to use because it is the only black that I have right now that's going to maintain a really dark black line when I pull it out. And on top of this, I want to add some clear so it doesn't bleed out on me. I don't have to add clear all the way around. I'm just going to kind of shift everything into the center, and that'll help with the twist. So I want to go ahead and punty up on both ends of this, but before I can do that, I really need to pull this glass out, and I try to be real careful here. And what I'm trying to accomplish is to pull the center and everything on the outside of the cane to one central point where I'm pulling out. And that will be the perfect area for me to attach my first punty to. And when I attach the punty on both sides, I always want to make sure that it does touch that black stringer. That's going to be really important for the black stringer to run the whole length of the cane. And I'm just going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to take the mandrel out and heat the bottom up and go ahead and gently start to pull it out. This is a little sloppy here, but it works. Just do your best to pull all of those colors out nice and evenly to that one point at the end. And at this point, I just wanted to shape things up a little bit to kind of get it into that football shape. So I just kind of lazily throw it into the bead mold and round it out. Now on this side, I'll go ahead and punty up again, and making sure that I touch the black, a little tiny bit of that black on this side as well. Not pushing in too deep, just enough to touch that central pink color and that black cane, just kind of bringing everything together into that point. And now it's just a matter of nice and gentle heating and starting to twist and pull. And you see that black, the intense black is just the best color to give you the finest, like pinstripe of a line, a thread. And there's our cane. I have a couple different ones that I pulled. All right, let's go ahead and make a bead. Okay, so to start the bead out, I'm gonna do this 5 layers, just real simple. Of course, you can plug in any color and cane at any time. But to start out with, I want to just get some clear for my first layer. And I'll add 1 or 2 coats on my mandrel to get a nice kind of substantial little spacer bead going. I want to start out with a nice solid base for this. And that is about what we're looking for. Okay, so that's layer 1. Layer 2, I'm going to add my cane, and I'll just start by heating up the very end of the cane and attaching it to the very center of my bead, and just slowly start to heat the cane up and wrap it around the equator. Now, when I get to the end, there's a couple different options that you have. What I tend to do is just give it a little twist and yank it off. But if you're wanting your cane to match up perfectly with the other side, you might want to use a bit of like a trim. You might want to trim and cut off your cane and very gently push it into place. And here I'm just gently pressing down that little bump, and now I'm just gonna round everything out. I find that melting this layer down kind of helps everything work out a little better in the end. But there you see our little bit of cane on there. And I'm just gonna let it cool down a bit so I can add layer number 3. So that was layer 2. And layer number 3 is just gonna be our clear coat again. This could be a great time to add a different transparent color if you so choose. Either way, I'm going to just very gently kind of wrap the whole bead in this. I'm not just, adding a a wrap real quick, I'm gently pushing and twisting my clear rod to make sure I am encapsulating the whole top layer of the disc. And even though it might look a little sloppy here, it will even out in the end. And to help me out, I'm just going to very gently press it down with my mini mashers. And it's more so to even up the sides than anything else. Okay, I'm going to give it a gentle heat now. I don't want to melt the whole thing in yet. I still want it to be kind of a disc shape, so I'm going to go in and just form that disc one more time. And this will give me a nice base to add layer number 4, which is going to be the cane again. This could be a different kind of cane, this could be another color, these could be dots, whatever you want to do here. It's going to impact the outcome every time. Again, when I meet the other side of the cane, I just give it a little twist and pull. I don't worry too much about having those connections meet perfectly. Sometimes it's kind of fun to see, you know, that handmade factor in your glass. All right, I'm just going to give it a gentle reheat now. That's kind of what we're looking for. Just a nice wide disc. All right, for our final layer, I'm going to add clear again. And I will just start in one spot and do the same thing I did on layer number 3, which is just to very gently push and kind of wiggle my glass as I'm heating it, so it is encapsulating that whole bit of cane. Okay, so at this point, I'm just gonna check it out. I think this looks good. If it's a little wiggly like this, don't worry about it too much. You know, all you're going to do now is just start to melt it down. If you need to, go ahead and flatten areas or, you know, squeeze them with your mini mashers if you need to. But this is pretty much how it's gonna look, depending on, you know, what layers you have going on in there. Just a nice big 5-layer disc. Okay, all we have to do now is heat the whole thing up and melt it down and we'll be done. Now, the actual melting of this bead took 5 minutes to do. So it does take time. If you are just heating for like 1 minute or 2 minutes, it's not going to be enough. So don't worry if things take time to melt down at this, you know, point of your bead. It's gonna take time. Like I said, this took 5 minutes to melt all the way down to the end. I did speed it up so we didn't have to like sit and wait and watch, but really the main concerns that I have here is heating up right in the front of the bead, and then gently just kind of heating one side and another to help it start to melt out and down onto the mandrel. Things might start to feel a little soft. If they do, you can come out of the flame, but really it's this one final heat. You want to start to heat and finish it in one long heat. One long heat, and we should have it. And this is our final bead. I'm just about done here. I want to let it cool down and show you guys how it looks in the heat. And yeah, that's our 5-layer bead. I hope you guys enjoy this and try it. You know, everyone is just gonna come out awesome, unique, and different. So I hope you appreciate this bead as much as I do and give it a try. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time in the dungeon.